town. I tune in to find out what's going down. Hey, hey. Local radio, keeping me informed in my community. Local radio, local radio, local radio creates unity.
From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. A growing trend for people of all ages is the use of e-bikes. Clinton Police Chief Ben Lowers explains that e-bikes have quickly become one of the fastest growing recreational and transportation trends in the community. However, they have come with an increasing volume of traffic complaints, specifically involving younger operators.
And I know that you had Monticello's chief on maybe earlier this week or something. And that's the e-bikes. And I can tell you that is a discussion, not only within our office, but with the city council. You know, that is probably becoming the fastest, the quickest increasing fad now in the e-bikes. You know, I mean, I think it's a great resource. It's a great opportunity to be out and get out and whatnot. But we have so many young kids, teenagers and younger kids on these motorized bicycles. No issue there, but except for that it's so important that they understand the rules of the road. You know, they're not required to have a driver's license. They basically carry the same rights and obligations as a pedal bicycle. However, we're getting so many complaints and so much discussion around, you know, safety at intersections, whipping in and out of cars, things of that nature. Forbid. I mean, we don't want anybody to get hurt. So if you have a child, if you've provided, you know, an e-bike to your kid, make sure that you're also having those responsible discussions about the rules of the road and bicycle safety. I really do. I hate to see them go away, but something has got to change because they're getting so popular. They're so common throughout town. And we just got to make sure that they are exercising the same rules of the road so we make sure that everybody's safe.
Because state law categorizes e-bikes alongside standard pedal bicycles, operators are not required to hold a valid driver's license. Chief Lowers is urging parents who purchase e-bikes for their children to remind them of e-bike safety and standard traffic laws.
And I mean, I think it's a great thing. You know, I love to see people out on them. I know a lot of people are riding them to work and things of that nature. That's fantastic. Where we're seeing the issues probably more so are the younger generation and the younger folks that are on them that, you know, quite frankly, they're not required to have a driver's license, but they've also not been through that driver training to maybe understand the rules of the road and the rights and obligations that they have when they're out there amongst the motoring traffic. Ask people, if you're a parent of one of those kids, make sure that you're having that conversation to make sure of safe operation. We certainly don't want to be making a horrific phone call that somebody had gotten hurt because of irresponsible operation. That is a discussion with us. It is, like I said, probably the fastest growing complaint or topic of conversation that we've had, you know, starting way earlier this spring and the first sign of warm weather, and even to some degree last summer. But they're just gaining popularity so fast and becoming so common that it is something that we're going to need to address.
Historically, the summer months bring an increase in pedestrian traffic and community mobility, extending late into the evening hours. To prevent crimes of opportunity, Chief Lowers reminds residents to lock up their properties and secure their vehicles.
You know, we talk time and time again about, especially this time of year, you know, historically, this is our busiest time of year as we're coming out of wintertime. You know, everybody kind of shaking off those winter cold weather blues. And the increase in pedestrian bicycle traffic, the increase in traffic around the community into the late night hours, as you said, taking that walk late at night after it cools off. This is a time that we need to remind people to lock things up, not provide a crime of opportunity for someone. We've been fairly fortunate for some time, but we still do have those isolated incidents of vehicle burglaries. So many of those, I can tell you, because of the technology and car alarms and things of that nature anymore, we have very few forced entry burglaries to vehicles anymore. I can't tell you when we did have the last one, but it is so common, probably one of the most common crimes that we encounter. And I listen to the other law enforcement leaders that you have right here on your show, and it seems having the same thing in Monticello and Lincoln and various areas. So it's so common of criminal trespass to vehicles that turn into theft or burglary.
Chief Lowers is employing property owners to remove valuables, including cell phones, purses, wallets, and cash from their vehicles each evening, or at minimum, ensure they are entirely hidden from plain sight.
We have so many people out and about and late night vehicles. Make sure that those vehicles are being locked. Make sure they're being locked. Make sure that you're taking valuables, purses, wallets, cell phones, things of that nature. First and foremost, remove them from the car. But if you don't remove them from the car, certainly make sure that they're not visible from the outside. And we need to do our part to at least reduce the likelihood of becoming a victim of such a crime. So first and foremost, remove those valuables, lock those cars up, lock them up. If you have the ability, park in a well-lit area, driveway, things of that nature. We love motion lights. And quite frankly, there's so many cameras around anymore, another conversation for another time. We're working towards the installation of our flock cameras, but quite frankly, you can't drive down a single block or walk down a single block in even in our small community and not be on somebody's residential ring camera or video surveillance. All those things, we've got to do our part to minimize the likelihood of becoming a victim. And that starts with, responsible care of our property and make sure things are locked up and put away.
E-bike ordinances are something the city of Clinton's leadership has been looking into. Other communities have been proactive in addressing the use of these. However, pending legislation at the state level could impact what local governments are allowed or not allowed to do. Despite the green leaves on the trees and warm weather, the Clinton Chamber of Commerce is already thinking about the haunted house season. Chamber Director Janice Peterson says they have to get started early to craft the perfect scares and spooky surprises for guests. It takes not only time, but volunteers, and she says they are looking for extra hands now.
Everybody thinks it's so early. Oh, you're working on the haunted house now? We have to, because any new room that we surprise you with, any change that we surprise you with doesn't come overnight because there's building involved, there's decorating involved. This year, there's a lot of building involved. So we're working. We also are looking for volunteers to help. Just give us a call at the chamber office, 217-935-3364. Stop in and see us. Email us at events@clintonilchamber.com. If you're interested in helping, it's a volunteer job, I should say. Don't need any skills. Just show up or just get a hold of us. We'll get you the times and where to show up. And it's fun. We all have a good time. We do. We're a family. Our haunted house volunteers, we're a family, and we have a good time. We get the job done, and we look forward to. I'm really looking forward to this year. There's some really, I think, really cool surprises going on. Yeah,
Nice.
And I can't tell you, obviously.
The focus right now is on construction as they perform maintenance and change room layouts for this Halloween.
Building stuff in the house.
Okay.
Because we try to make sure that we change up some surprises every year, whether it be room designs, whether it be just some maintenance on the house. For example, maintenance on the house, we need roofs. We're getting our roof fixed next week, which is a blessing because the porch that I stand on is about ready to collapse. And it's been that way. We're just waiting for those heavy rains to be like, oh my gosh. But so we're getting that kind of stuff done, and that we need to do before we open. Typically work nights are Tuesdays and Thursdays. But I know some of the guys will go over in an afternoon if they're not working or whatever, they'll go over an afternoon and work on some stuff. And we have to be careful. It gets so hot sometimes that when it gets super hot, we don't have work days. And when the storms too, that doesn't help
that
either.
doesn't help either.
Because we will be over there this morning checking the basement. if Aaron hasn't been there already checking.
Oh,
the basement.
okay.
As hard as it rained last night, it would not surprise me if she texts me and says we've got 2 inches of water in the basement. We have to drain it out. It just drains out.
Wow.
We don't have. We put it. It will drain on. Let's example if we do have that, it will drain out over the next day or so, and it drains out pretty good. Then we'll put fans down there, and then before we bleach everything because we do get water down there.
Right.
So yeah, so I will. It will not surprise me. She'll probably check it. She's probably either there now or she's checking it on her way to work.
Peterson emphasizes that volunteers need no experience to lend a hand. She notes tasks can be as simple as painting a wall or assisting with light handiwork, and they are happy to train any excited volunteers. The Terror on Washington Street Haunted House is open every weekend in October, including on Halloween night. They are also actively searching for volunteer groups to work the house while it is open. Learn more by visiting ClintonILChamber.com or by finding them on Facebook. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Here's Matt Hart, owner of the Hart Media Group in Clinton.
It's been great. You and Ben and the entire team are doing a great job. And we're just continuing on serving the local community, right? This is what this is all about. We're here to serve our local community. We're here to tell the local stories. We're here to cover the news. So nothing in that regard is changing. Our goal is connecting people. And that's our tagline at Hart Media Group. It's connecting people.
Hart purchased the Miller Media Group in August of 2025 and looks forward to serving the community for years to come.
WHOW is Central Illinois' ag station, and that includes providing farmers information on how the commodity markets close each day and week. I'm Todd Gleason from Illinois Public Media, University of Illinois Extension, inviting you to hear the daily closing market report weekday afternoons at 5:06, and on Saturdays, tune in for Commodity Week with a review of the week's markets at 8:30 in the morning, all on WHOW, AM, FM, and streamed online.
Now there's one web portal for local agriculture radio programming in Central Illinois.
IllinoisFarmRadio.com.
Local farm programming streamed live and archived to hear anytime.
IllinoisFarmRadio.com.
Hear the morning and noon farm shows with local agriculture news and interviews.
IllinoisFarmRadio.com.
Plus, hear all of your favorite agriculture farm shows, including RFD Illinois, AgriTalk, RFD Today, and the Closing Market Report.
IllinoisFarmRadio.com.
It's agriculture grown locally, streamed live, and archived to hear anytime.
IllinoisFarmRadio.com.
A service of the Miller Media Group.
Paul Scourin here, CEO of Warner Hospital. Spring allergies acting up? At Warner Hospital and Health Services, we offer fast treatment to help you breathe easier and feel better fast. Quality care right here, right now. Click on our icon on DeWittDailyNews.com.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. In a game heard on WHOW, Sam Antonacci hit a walk-off 2-run single in the bottom of the 9th inning after Cleveland scored twice in the top half to take the lead, and the Chicago White Sox beat the Cleveland Guardians 6-5 on Monday night.
The White Sox opened a 6-game homestand on Monday against the AL Central leading Guardians. The Sox could not hold a 3-0 lead, but Sam Antonacci did his best as he put the Sox back in front in the 7th.
The 2-0, swinging a broken bat bouncer, and it's under the glove of Hoskins in the right. Braden Montgomery will score.
But even that wasn't going to hold up as the Guardians grabbed a 5-4 lead in the 9th, forcing the Sox to come back one more time. And if you haven't learned by now, what has taken you so long?
The pitch. Sam with a base hit into center. 1 run in. Here comes Peters. Safe. They win it.
With the win, the Sox are back atop the American League Central, tied with the Guardians. I'm Jeff Meller, and I'll have your pregame coverage starting at 6 p.m. Tuesday night on the ESPN 1000 Hard Rock Casino White Sox Network.
Here, the second of the Sox 3-game series with the Guardians tonight on WHOW. Pregame starts at 6 p.m. Rookies J.J. Weatherholt and Nathan Church each had 2 hits, sparking the St. Louis Cardinals to a 3-2 victory over the Arizona Diamondbacks on Monday night. Andre Palante is 9-4 and allowed 6 hits and 1 run in 6 innings to secure the victory. Palante has earned wins in his last 4 starts and has given up 2 runs or less in 5 of his last 6 outings. St. Louis has won all 5 of those games. Riley O'Brien, the 5th Cardinals pitcher, notched his 19th save in 23 opportunities by working the 9th. Merrill Kelly is 5-7 and pitched 6 innings, giving up 3 runs on 7 hits. Ketel Marte and Corbin Carroll each had 2 hits for Arizona. St. Louis took a 1-0 lead in the 3rd on a 1-out infield single by Alec Burleson that drove in Church. The Cardinals extended their lead to 3-0 with a 2-run 4th. Blaze Jordan's sacrifice fly to deep center scored Jimmy Crooks. Church followed with a run-scoring single to shallow center, driving in Mason Wynn. Former Cardinal Nolan Arenado made his first appearance in St. Louis since he was traded in January. Arenado played 5 seasons with the Cardinals. Many fans gave him a standing ovation before his first at-bat in the 2nd, and he singled to left. Arenado drove in a run with a 6th-inning groundout, cutting St. Louis's lead to 3-1. The second Diamondbacks run came on a 440-foot homer to center by Tommy Troy in the 7th, off reliever Ryan Stanek, who was making his 500th career appearance. Stanek is one of 13 active pitchers with 500 games. Arizona lefty Eduardo Rodriguez is 6-2 with a 2.45 ERA and faces right-hander Kyle Leahy, who is 5-4 with a 4.63 ERA in the 2nd of a 4-game series. In scores from around the MLB yesterday, the Detroit Tigers beat the New York Yankees 5-3, while the Kansas City Royals beat the Tampa Bay Rays 2-1. The Texas Rangers beat the Miami Marlins 4-3, while the Toronto Blue Jays took down the Houston Astros 4-2. The Milwaukee Brewers beat the Cincinnati Reds 2-1 in 10 innings, while the LA Dodgers beat the Minnesota Twins 2-1. The Washington Nationals took down the Philadelphia Phillies 4-1, while the Colorado Rockies beat the Boston Celtics 3-2. The Baltimore Orioles routed the LA Angels 6-1, while the San Diego Padres shut out the Atlanta Braves 1-0. The Chicago Cubs and the New York Mets were set to play yesterday. However, that game was postponed and will now be a part of a doubleheader at Citi Field on Wednesday. The Minnesota Timberwolves are trading Julius Randle and a first-round pick to the Brooklyn Nets as part of a 3-team deal that also includes the Chicago Bulls. The Timberwolves are sending the 28th pick in Tuesday's draft to the Nets and will be receiving the number 33 pick that will be made in the 2nd round on Wednesday night. The Bulls will be receiving Nic Claxton from Brooklyn in the trade. For Minnesota, the trade opens a slew of financial possibilities. It created a $33 million trade exception, plus gave the Timberwolves room that they already used to re-sign Ayo Dosunmu. Dosunmu had a 43-point game off the bench during the opening round of this year's playoffs when Minnesota ousted Denver. Randle, a 3-time All-Star, will be moving to his 5th team after stints with New York, the Los Angeles Lakers, New